In today's video, I review Abbey Sharp's What I Eat in a Day. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow this down for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO, organic acid, stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video.
Okay, so I just got back from my workout and I feel great. I've just refilled my water here. I probably drink like at least 4 of these a day. I'm a big water drinker, but I'm really obsessed with sparkling water, so I use my SodaStream for that. And this is not an ad, but I just love my SodaStream.
So nothing wrong with occasional sparkling waters from SodaStream machines, but there are some smaller scale clinical trials that have shown that carbonated water has negative effects on etched or sealed enamel, resulting in decreased microhardness. So essentially they can strip the beneficial flora around the teeth that produce various different protective layers, and then these carbonated water beverages can then erode the enamel in the teeth.
It is very hard to do this with one hand. How the hell am I going to do this? Okay, I'm just going to, you guys know how to peanut butter bread, I assume. We'll just pat it. No, I'm just going to do this properly. Okay, so baby E is playing with himself right now, and I just really quickly whipped this up. I didn't have time to do anything like really extravagant, but this is gonna do for his first kind of like little breakfast and my little quick breakfast snack after my workout. So I've got some whole wheat toast with some banana and hemp hearts because I'm obsessed with hemp hearts. And for baby E, we've got some ricotta, little berries, some peanut butter toast, some hemp hearts on that. So yummy.
So I'm not yet a parent, but I can only imagine how difficult it is to get yourself prepared in the morning as well as looking after a little one. That being said, Abby has just come back from a workout at the gym and she is having a slice of toast, some peanut butter, hemp hearts and also a banana. Now I'm obviously interested to see what Abby is going to eat around this for additional calories and nutrition, because there isn't a lot there in terms of the toast and the workout that she's just had, but let's move on.
Okay, I've been saved by the nanny, and now I'm gonna have a really quick shower because I've got a really crazy day and I definitely need to get started ASAP. Now's my favorite time of day. It's coffee time. All right, all done. Little almond milk latte action here. Also, I'm going to take my probiotic, which I take pretty much every day whenever I remember, of course. And that, of course, is just really important for keeping my gut nice and happy.
So in terms of the morning so far, a gym workout, some toast, peanut butter, banana, hemp hearts and a latte. Now in terms of probiotics, there is very little evidence to support their use. The problem with most probiotics on the market today is that by the time you take them, much of the bacteria has been degraded and a high proportion of the remaining bacteria is eradicated by your stomach acid. So very little of the bacteria will actually colonize the colon. So many of you would be better off saving your money from expensive probiotics and just eat a diet rich in fermented foods, resistant starch and also pre and probiotic rich foods. Now the only probiotic on the market today with a decent level of clinical trials behind it is VSL, but I am assuming if Abby was using this, then she would have disclosed it. And just before you vegans rush out to look at VSL probiotics, they are not currently vegan.
So I'm using my hubby's eggs from the farm, which are these grass-fed and free-range eggs. And as far as I'm concerned, they're pretty happy hens, though I appreciate that a lot of my vegans probably wouldn't agree with that.
This is the kind of breakfast that I would like make, and then any leftovers I'd put in the fridge and I would just pull out throughout the week for baby E. Okay, so before I add anything else in there, I just want to show you how amazing these look. Look. They are bright orange. They are packed with nutrition, so very excited about this.
So as Abby has said, there is a lot of nutrition in this recipe, and I'm certainly not going to get into a debate about things like heme iron versus non-heme iron from a health perspective. I will, however, here make a couple of different comments on saturated fats and cholesterol. So starting with cholesterol, in that bowl of eggs there is approximately 2,238 milligrams of cholesterol. Now, this is obviously a contentious subject, with many scientists going backwards and forwards on cholesterol. Previous recommendations in the US have suggested keeping the cholesterol below 300 milligrams per day. Today, some health organisations are citing this recommendation is now obsolete. Now again, I'm certainly not going to get into a cholesterol debate while reviewing Abbey's What I Ate in a Day video, maybe a topic for a separate video. What I can say is that recommendations around saturated fat intake are not as contentious. So in the UK, recommendations are less than 30 milligram a day for men and less than 20 milligram a day for women. So in the US, the American Heart Association recommends aiming for a dietary pattern that achieves 5 to 6% of calories from saturated fat. So for example, if you need around 2,000 calories a day, no more than 120 of them should come from saturated fats, and that's around 13 grams of saturated fats per day. So as you can see, even between health organisations around the world, there is a slight difference between the values. In Abbey's bowl of eggs, there is around 19.8 grams of saturated fat, and that's without anything else that she will eat throughout the day. Now, obviously, the child will have some of that as well, but it would have been nice for Abbey as a dietitian to acknowledge the guidelines around saturated fat. So hopefully she covers this later in the video. Beyond this, I will obviously concede that there is a decent level of nutrition in those eggs, but this is obviously something that can equally be achieved via plant-based sources, minus the saturated fats and cholesterol.
This looks good. Yay! Alright, I'm gonna let that cool and then we're gonna dig in. So we've got some little frittata for baby E, some kiwi, some avocado. I'm gonna have the same thing, just a slightly larger portion. Look at how yellow those eggs are. So good. And I've got lots of leftover frittata that I'm gonna pop in the fridge and have for breakfast or a snack later, or for baby E for a snack or lunch as well.
So in that breakfast meal, Abbey added eggs, tomatoes, broccoli, kiwi, and also some olive oil. Now, based on her portions that she showed on screen, that breakfast would have come in at around 1,238 calories. In terms of protein, as you would expect eating the eggs, Abbey is already over 75% of her daily protein requirement. Some other notable metrics, she is probably very near to going over the saturated fat recommendations by the American Heart Association, and she has only just finished breakfast, so it will be interesting to see how the rest of the day pans out. For vitamins and minerals, a decent level hit for the first meal of the day, so let's see what Abbey eats next.
So we just made these like awesome kind of no-bake granola bars that are baby and toddler friendly. And of course, like all the little bits that have fallen as I cut them, this is going to be my snack today. So this is basically mom food. Mom food are the scraps, the little bits and pieces that babies don't eat, that dogs don't eat. But of course, you don't want to throw out because we don't want to waste food. And this is actually really delicious. So it's just got oats and iron fortified baby cereal, hemp hearts, some prunes for constipation because nobody wants to constipate a baby, lots of natural peanut butter, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's really tasty though. And I put some freeze-dried fruit on top because it adds some natural sweetness.
Sounds appetizing, that. Leftover baby drool that even the dog doesn't want. Tasty. So in terms of granola bars that have been fortified with iron, I'm not really sure why the child would need that with the heme iron from the eggs, but let's move on anyway.
Hi. Okay, so we're gonna make a really quick little lunch. I've been cooking, doing some recipe testing today, so I've got some veggies, but of course I wanna give me and baby E a little bit of protein to go with. I'm really close to this fish here. I'm going to cook up some of this beautiful black cod with just a little bit of olive oil and lemon juice, keeping it super, super simple. And so yeah, I'm gonna get to it.
The old protein phobia coming out there. You need more protein in the diet. There is no way that vegetables contain enough protein or that Abbey can go a meal without animal proteins in her diet. So at this point, she is already pushing 80% of her protein requirements for the day. So I'm not sure why she is pushing for more and more protein.
Okay, so this is this awesome peach and roasted red pepper Romanesca sauce that I made for this recipe that I was testing today. This is the recipe actually I was testing. It says beautiful cauliflower steaks with this Romanesca. Obviously a delicious side, but maybe not like enough for me for a main course. So I've just made this little black cod. I'm gonna add some more of the Romanesca on top just to add some extra little flavor and sauce. Same with Baby E's, because I think he's gonna love the peach kind of flavor, and it's not spicy, so it's really, really yummy. So this is gonna be a little mommy and me lunch for Baby E. We've got the watermelon, some fresh buffalo mozzarella. I just took the little bits from the cauliflower steaks that kind of fall off, and I've steamed them for him, so it's really easy to eat. And then we've got some black cod with the Romanesca, and I'm gonna have a cauliflower steak with the black cod.
So with lunch out of the way, let's see how Abbey is stacking up nutrition-wise for the day. So after that meal, she is around 2,000 calories. She is about 38.8 gram now for saturated fats, which is nearly double the daily recommendations. After the fish meal, Abbey is also around 105% of her daily protein requirement. In terms of vitamins and minerals, they are continuing to rise, but things like vitamin B1 and zinc, she is only around 40% of her RDA. So let's see how she stacks up for her evening meal.
Okay, time for a little afternoon delight, as they say. So I'm gonna put together my own little trail mix here. With all the random snacks that I have in the cupboard, because if you saw my pantry, you'd be like, holy shit, this girl has way too many snacks. So I'm gonna start with these little chili chickpeas. They're super awesome. These ones are chili lime flavored, so a couple handfuls of these. Yes, you can make your own, and I do, but sometimes these brands like slimy stuff, so I'm gonna eat them. I've also got some pistachios that we have spent hours shelling. It's kind of therapeutic to shell pistachios, so we kind of enjoy it. So just like a small handful of that, and then I've got a small handful of these like little coconut chips, which are super, super tasty too. So a little bit of that. I'm obsessed with these. I could just eat them all day. So yeah, it looks awesome. That's my little snack for this afternoon.
No real comment here other than the fact that she is continuing to increase her daily intake of saturated fats, but at least we have a meal or snack without any animal products.
Okay, so we've been basically cooking all day. The last thing I want to do is have to cook a whole other meal for dinner. So I'm basically just going to pull together odds and ends from the fridge. And also we made a big casserole while we were recipe testing today, so I definitely want to dig into that.
All right, so here we go. Here's a little casserole. Oh my God, this is heavy. This is awkward. This is hard to do with my hand. Okay, yeah, it still looks pretty good. Still looks awesome.
So this is another recipe that is now up on the blog, so I'll leave a link below. And it can be made vegan or vegetarian depending on what kind of cheese that you use, but it's really great. It's got like bean puree in there and tons of veggies and some whole grain noodles. It is really super tasty. And like I said, like why cook from scratch when I have like a massive casserole in the fridge? So we ate that for dinner, and I probably ate that for like 2 other days afterwards just to get through.
Yes, I would agree with that. It's always good to have some batch meals in your back pocket so you are not coming home from work, scrambling around and looking for something to eat that for many people would end up in convenience foods.
Obviously, when I shot it for Instagram this morning, it looked better, but I think it still looks pretty good and fresh.
So here's my portion. Not sure if I'm gonna eat all of it, but I also served it with some steamed green beans that I was making for Baby E. And I topped mine off with just a little bit of olive oil and lemon. And then Baby E got some steamed carrots, some of the pasta, some green beans, and those no-bake granola bars.
So I've now punched all of those ingredients into Chronometer, and this is what Abbey's final day of eating looks like. Now, I will caveat this and say that she may have added slightly more or slightly less than I have added into Chronometer, but I've tried to add normal portion sizes from a recipe on her website, and also some basic extrapolation of what she showed on screen. So the numbers might be out by maybe 100 to 200 calories, but generally speaking, these totals should be broadly accurate. So let's run through everything in detail. So for that day of eating, I estimate that Abbey ate between 3,000 and 3,300 calories. This equated to her hitting around 44 grams of fiber, which as somebody who eats more plant-based, I would say this is fairly low. But in terms of chronometer, it doesn't have any problems with this. Now, in terms of omega-3, Abbey ate around 2.2 grams, but this was massively dwarfed by her intake of omega-6, which come in at around 19.7 grams. Now, that ratio is obviously skewed in favour of omega-6s, which isn't ideal, but more worryingly, Abbey's intake of saturated fat for the day was around 56.5 grams. Now, this may or may not have been a typical day of eating for Abbey, but as a dietitian and a healthcare practitioner, for her not to acknowledge that she ate nearly 3 times the recommendations of saturated fat for a female is very disappointing. In terms of protein, this was never going to be a problem with the amount of animal foods during the day of eating, and in terms of vitamins and minerals, Abbey's day of eating was a bit hit and miss across the board. So it appeared that she didn't quite get enough of vitamins B1, B3, B5, copper, potassium, and also zinc. Now, obviously, this is a single day of eating, and she may have bumped up those nutrients cumulatively the day before or day after, so this is probably not an issue. And also, I will caveat this and say that she had some multivitamins at the end of this day, so again, it's probably not an issue. For me, that day of eating was overshadowed by the large amounts of saturated fats, the massively skewed omega-6 to 3 ratio, the probable overconsumption of calories consumed for the day for someone of Abbey's size, and also most importantly for me as a vegan, the absolute non-necessity of eating of the animal products to get those nutrients. All of those nutrients could have been achieved via eating plants and also without some of the accompanying problems within Abbey's day of eating, such as the saturated fats. Anyhow, that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live, and I'll see you next time.